Odessa are facing more homelessness after the pandemic. We'll show you what the city is doing to protect the ones who sacrificed for our freedom.
But first up this half hour, we're learning some new details in the murder of the Waynesboro mayor's brother.
Today, police say they have 2 people in custody for this. 2. Burke County officials say as of Wednesday, Tommy Tennyson and Darius Savage are in the Burke County Detention Center. Both face murder, armed robbery, kidnapping, and weapons charges for the murder of Brian Carswell back on January 6th.
Also this afternoon, Governor Kemp and Republican state lawmakers fast-tracked a voting bill that will change elections in Georgia going forward.
Our Nick Proto is live in the studio to break down what this means for us here in the Peach State.
One of the main points of the law is all Georgians will now need a photo ID to vote absentee by mail, something 1.3 million Georgia voters did during the pandemic. It also cuts off absentee ballot requests to 11 days before an election. Under this law, outside groups are not allowed to hand out food or water to people waiting in line to vote. 2 new Saturday voting days and 2 optional Sunday voting days will expand the hours for voters to get to the polls. More than 100 of Georgia's 159 counties have never offered Sunday voting. Before Governor Kemp signed this into law, absentee ballots were verified by signatures, and now you'll need that photo ID. Ballot boxes will be moved inside polling locations and can only be used during polling hours, so no more dropping off a ballot after hours. Those against the law call it Jim Crow 2.0, while those who support it say it's about election integrity.
Any political party trying this hard to suppress votes, it should concern everyone.
I don't see how you can argue voter suppression when they have actually expanded the times that are available on weekends during early voting.
And coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll dive deeper into this new law and hear why the local Republican Party wants to see even more changes.
Nick, thanks. Georgia State Representative was arrested during Governor Kemp's announcement of that bill signing yesterday. Today, Park Cannon is out of jail. She was allegedly knocking there on the door of the press conference room while the governor was speaking. Police say she's charged with disrupting General Assembly session and obstruction of law enforcement. Today, U.S. Senator Warnock is making his first cast. New today, a man from Barnwell County sentenced to 12 years in prison for explosive-related charges. 37-year-old Michael Seabrook pled guilty to possession of the devices and to damage that happened after they detonated. Unfortunately, this is video of some of that tornado damage that we saw in Alabama. Just a lot of devastation there. People beginning to pick up the pieces today. 5 people killed that we saw in that storm yesterday, and that was in Alabama alone. And the weather was just an awful day of weather yesterday afternoon.
I ignored the warning. I shouldn't have. I'm lucky to be here.
You got in there
in a closet.
You got in the closet.
And put mixing bowls on her head. Metal mixing bowls, yeah.
See some of the damage on the ground there in Alabama. That was Kerry Sanders doing the questioning there for NBC News. But a lot of power lines down, a lot of vehicles in the roadway there as Alabama just begins to recover from that storm.
First at 5, Governor Henry McMaster announces everybody 16 years old and older is eligible to get the vaccine starting March 31st. The governor says thanks to the hard work of everyone involved, the state is able to expand faster than they originally thought. DHEC's director says just under 2 million vaccines have been giving out. More than 1 million South Carolinians have been vaccinated. Governor Brian Kemp and Dr. Toomey were in Waycross, Georgia today. They were touring their mass vaccination site there. They chose a rural area specifically because data shows people in those regions are less likely to get vaccinated. Dr. Toomey says the biggest influence on getting the vaccine is each other.
The most influential people to get others to be vaccinated are you. Because when people see their friends and relatives being vaccinated, when they see that they're doing well, and particularly when they realize that once they're vaccinated, they'll be able to do things that they want to do.
Today, Governor Kemp and his family all got vaccinated. If you're looking to get your shot this weekend, here are a couple of clinics in Screven County. You can head to the Optum Medical Center from 9 until 1 tomorrow. Appointments are required, though. Can't just show up. We'll have the link on our website. Also, tomorrow in Aiken, you can head to Wagner Sally High School from 9 until 2 o'clock. You do not need an appointment for that clinic, but it is for only 18 years old and up.
The Charlie Norwood VA holding a veteran stand-down event at the Uptown VA this morning to offer vaccines, resources, and food to veterans dealing with homelessness. While the moratorium on evictions helped our homeless veterans, the pandemic has led to fewer options for affordable housing. Augusta's Department of Housing and Community Development tells us before the pandemic, the number of homeless veterans was actually on a steady decline, but since then they have faced a major setback.
There has not been as much new units produced during the last year as we would normally see. So the rental market has just generally been constrained and very burdened.
Fortunately, there are resources for veterans to get help like the VA, Forces United, and United Way. We're going to add that list to our website.
Some help is on the way for Georgia Public Schools. Today, the state superintendent approved nearly $4 billion in federal stimulus funds for those schools. Officials say 20% must be set aside for student learning loss. The rest of the money, that is flexible, but there are some recommendations, like money for at-risk students, distance and remote learners, school meals, as well as mental and physical health resources for students.
We know there's a wage gap between men and women and a more drastic wage gap for moms and single mothers. To date, women makes 82% for every dollar a man makes, mothers 75 cents, but single moms make just 54 cents for every dollar a man makes. Experts say a lot of that happens because moms take on most of the child care responsibilities.
There is a lot of pressure on moms to be the primary parent. So we know that in 80% of separated families where the parents live separately, whether they were married or not, 80% of those, the mom is the primary custodian.
They're not getting the support that they need. And it might not just be financial supports. It also could be time to focus on perhaps returning to school, professional development, and even networking.
Financial experts say sharing the parenting load more equally could help even out those gaps even more.
A big check is going a long way for the kids of North Aiken Elementary School. Today, the school received a $1,000 check from the Aiken chapter of Lynx. The school says they plan to use the money for a new playground, a new basketball hoop, and some fun stuff for the younger kids. Something the school's principal says they really need.
Our students at North Aiken love to know that people outside of this building care about them and think about them. That makes them happy, and they'll be happier knowing they're getting a goal to play a real game of basketball.
Yeah, that can help with exercise and improving their mood. So many things. Yeah, great use of that money there. Blood centers in our area are struggling. They really are. They need to boost up their supply. Officials say there's an even greater shortage of both type O positive and type O negative blood. If you're looking to save some lives tomorrow, you can donate at HCCU Augusta from 10 until 1. On Monday, you can donate at University Hospital. That blood drive goes from 9 to 5.
Well, Augusta's getting some attention from the entertainment business. Coming up on Monday, production crews will be back downtown with the film cameras rolling. So starting Sunday night, that means road closures on Broad Street between 8th and 6th Street, and then 7th Street between Reynolds and Broad will also be shut down. There are going to be detours in place so you can get around all this, but officials are urging you just to take another route around all this if possible. And those closures will be in place until Tuesday morning. You might also hear gunfire downtown, but they say don't worry, it's just part of the movie business. So little Hollywood and downtown Augusta and some inconveniences, but we'll just have to drive around their work for the weekend. Payday, it's always great, right? Woohoo! Coming up, we're going to give you more than 91,000 reasons why this guy had a payday he will never, ever forget. Riley?
We're keeping an eye on
Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
Well, okay, on a scale of 1 to 91,750, how mad would you be if your paycheck came in the form of all pennies? For one Georgia man out of Peachtree City, that's exactly how he got it. After leaving a car dealership, the man and his boss there got into a dispute. So for that final paycheck, the boss dumps more than 500 pounds of pennies right there in the driveway, complete with a note with an explicative included. So things are not good.
Yeah, we're not going to say what it said. Plus, all the pennies, by the way, they were greased down in an oily, smelly substance. The worker was owed a little more than $900, and he hand-cleaned every single penny.
It sucks. It absolutely sucks. It was about 504 pounds. That's going to be a lot of work for money I've already worked for.
earned that money once, right? The Department of Labor says technically there's nothing wrong with paying someone in pennies. The boss says all that matters is his guy got paid. But I don't think he's going to be using that boss as a reference anytime soon going forward.
No.
Wow.
It's like a senior prank in high school. I mean, these are adult men in the business world, right?
Yeah.
Just double checking.
And not just pennies, but oiled down pennies with some, I don't know, transmission fluid or something.
Yeah.
Nasty stuff.
Not cool. There's more to this story. I think the key to it is the dispute.
Yeah.
I wonder if the punishment fits the crime.
Well, you usually see it with like people paying speeding tickets or
Right.
anything like that, and that's always
Here
funny.
it is, take it in pennies.
For paying an employee that's crazy.
Yeah, he's working again.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess we'll leave that business anonymous for now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, we are tracking.
Thanks so much, Riley. You know, in this time of technology, a lot of people have an Apple Watch or some other kind of smartwatch tracking their every step.
Oh, yes, something is always watching us, right? Maybe it's even tracking your heart rate. But a new fitness band says they can track your sleep performance, like how intense your workouts are, even how much you have recovered. Liz McLaughlin takes us to the weight room.
In a crowded and competitive fitness wearables market, the Whoop band has an enthusiastic following.
We pulled some of the most interesting insights from professional athletes,
garnering buzz through its weekly podcast and notable user base, including NFL star Patrick Mahomes, pro golfer Justin Thomas, and Olympian Kate Courtney.
Whoop is a wearable technology that's designed to change behavior and improve health. It's everything from hardware, so you can see this small sensor on my wrist, to software and analytics.
An accelerometer tracks heart rate and other metrics. But unlike bands from Fitbit, Apple, Amazon, and others, Whoop doesn't count steps, instead logging sleep, recovery, and strain.
Strain is a measurement of cardiovascular load, so we're looking at elevated heart rate for periods of time and calculating strain as a result.
Users get the tracker for free with a monthly subscription of $18 to $30. A bigger long-term cost than competitors, but one that Whoop user and data scientist Jessica Dunn says has been worth it.
It is an eye-opening experience.
Over the past year, she's used analysis reports and daily coaching in the app to make behavioral changes, improve her sleep, and adjust her workouts.
I wake up and this recovery is calculated for me. You know what days you should be pulling back and what days you should be pushing a little bit more.
Pros to everyday consumers, making small changes to optimize performance. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
I don't have the smartwatch. The closest I come to that is a Nike app that tracks my running, which I really like. But how about you? You wear it?
I do, and it reminds me to stand up constantly. I will get a reminder several during this newscast that I need to stand up. So maybe I should just start standing up. I'll just stand up by the desk.
Is that when people say I need to complete the circle? And don't you have a little circle you're trying to
you have
complete?
a circle of standing, of just movement calories, and then exercise calories.
All right. Well, if you pop
And
up
my
and start
rings are
walking.
very far behind, especially for a Friday. They're
If
embarrassing.
you start looping the studio, we'll know what you're up to.
Got it.
Complete the circle. All
There
right.
we go.
The smartwatches, they're here.
Coming up, we're taking you out to Edora Farms for a sneak peek at